Good morning to you on this beautiful morning. Here's your warm-up, your dynamic stretch, Thursday, April 16th. So we're gonna need a few things like normal. Something comfortable to kneel on. We're gonna spend almost our entire time on the ground with the different movements today. Something for balance from a kneeling position. You'll see what that will look like when we get to it. Stool, wall, whatever you want. And when we get to the end, there's gonna be a component where we're doing these squat sit with rotations. A few different variations of how we can do that. But if you need something as a little bit of counterbalance, sitting in a squat position, then I'll show you how to do so utilizing the corner here on the wall, but you can also use something heavy or something secure, counter or a big heavy table, something like that, where you can kind of hang off of it to do your squats so that you don't tip over and fall on your backside. So we're going to start with pelvic tilts. So we'll start here on the ground. They can be done off of a raised object with the hands if getting down on the ground is too challenging. But ideally we do these on the ground here. So we're going to do 10 repetitions. We're going to push it hard away from the ground, pull the shoulders away from the ears, and we're going to perform those pelvic tilts. So anterior, posterior. We're going to create that arch. And we're going to create that flexion as we work back and forth. You can think about kind of popping your butt and then pulling your butt up underneath, pulling your belly button in, creating as much range of motion as you can as we work back and forth between these two positions. Do about 5 more. Anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior. Do a few more here, really maxing out that range of motion, continuing to push hard away from the ground as we work through these. And let's do one more. And good. All right, so we're gonna hit a half kneeling pelvic tilt and a hamstring stretch. We haven't done this one in a while. So from here, a pelvic tilt, and then I'll extend the leg, kind of kick my butt back, lean over, stretch out that hamstring, and we're gonna do 5 on each side. So pelvic tilt for a few seconds, reach that leg out, stretch that hamstring. Pelvic tilt, tuck that butt up, reach that leg out, stretch that hamstring. Pelvic tilt, reach that leg out, hamstring, pelvic tilt, really deep hip flexor, quad stretch. Reach that leg out, hamstring, one more, pelvic tilt, and hamstring. Good. Okay, other side. Make sure that the rear foot, that the toes are going into the ground when we do that, especially on that pelvic tilt, you get a better stretch. So pelvic tilt, reach that leg out, stretch that hamstring. Pelvic tilt, hamstring. Pelvic tilt, deep hip flexor, quad stretch. Hamstring. Pelvic tilt, hamstring. A couple more. Pelvic tilt, hamstring, and one more. Pelvic tilt, pull that belly button in, tuck that butt up underneath, and reach that leg out for that hamstring. Cool. All right, so we're gonna go to half kneeling bottle rocks and then full bottle rocks. So I'll do this first one here on my left knee with my right leg extended out, and then I'll turn and face you when I do the other side. So I'm gonna have my right leg out nice and straight. I'm going to push my left knee out so I get a nice a stretch here between on the inner part of my thighs. I'm gonna make sure that I push my left heel out, don't let my left heel collapse, and we're gonna do a 30-second hold. So I'm gonna put my hands out in front of me, establish a neutral spine position, and then I'm just gonna sit my butt back, and we're just gonna hold this position. Every few seconds, we're gonna try and push back a fraction of an inch. Definitely for me, and probably for a lot of you guys, it's not gonna be a real deep range of motion. I'm gonna get back here, I'm gonna push back, and I'm gonna be like, I kind of feel like I'm hitting a wall. I can't go any deeper just because the stretch is pretty intense. It's a good kind of stretch though, it's a good kind of pain, right? Feels good to sit back into that stretch, feel that nice deep stretch in the adductors. And good, come out of that. All right, now we're gonna go to the other side. So for here, I'll extend that left leg out. Make sure that I have my right foot, my right heel kicking out. All right, establish that neutral spine position. And I'm gonna go ahead and sit my butt back, down towards my heels. Again, really important to maintain that neutral spine position as we sit the butt back. Doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you give up that neutral spine position and go into that excessive flexion and sit your butt and feel like, oh, I can get my butt back pretty far. No, we want to maintain neutral spine, keep those abs tight, and then sit that butt back as deep as we can. Get another few seconds. And relax. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to go to the regular bottle rock. So go back to the side shot, side version on this, side shot. So knees out wider than the shoulders and the hips. Both heels pushing away from one another. Get those hands out in front of you. Establish that neutral spine position. And then there we go. We're going to start to sit that butt back into position. Again, maintain neutral spine. Maybe give me just a little bit of anterior tilt just so that we make sure that we have it. And then sit down and back. Every few breaths, see if we can sit down just a little bit deeper. Feeling those hips open up. Really feeling those hips working. Nice strong position as we sit down and back. Again, maintain neutral, really important. And 2, 1, and relax. Good. Okay, so we're going to go to a fire hydrant series. We're going to do 5 fire hydrants, then 5 fire hydrant kickouts, then 5 sweeps, and then we're going to do 3 hip rotations, all on the right, and then we'll go all on the right side, or all on the left side. So nice, good quad position, belly tight, neutral spine. I'm going to think about not just like lifting this leg, but more just reaching out so that we can get this outer part of that hip to work. Want to make sure that I stay nice and square and neutral. I don't want to be allowing this to collapse. I want to make sure that I stay nice and strong. So one way that I can kind of check that is if I'm working with this right leg right here, that if I can pull my left hand up off the ground and still keep myself nice and balanced and squared, then I'm doing good. All right, here we go. Nice strong neutral spine position. Pull those shoulders away from the ears, and we're going to push out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to lift and hold. So we're going to keep that knee elevated, and then we're going to kick back at a 45-degree angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to sweep the leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Now we're going to go to those hip rotations. So think about, again, we got to keep this spine neutral and across the back. Want to think about with that knee making as big a circle as we can, working within our true range of motion of that hip. So the knee's going to come up to the chin, out to fire hydrant, back to hip extension and down, and then we reverse. 3 of them. Drive that knee up, out to fire hydrant, nice and slowly back to hip extension and down, hip extension, fire hydrant to your chin and down, drive up to that chin, push out, wrap around, hip extension and down, reverse, hip extension, fire hydrant and down. 1 more, drive it up, fire hydrant, hip extension and down, and reverse, hip extension, fire hydrant, and around. Good. Okay. Get this out of the way. All right. Other side here. We're going to drive fire hydrants, push out 1, 2, then if I can keep 3, if I can pull my right arm up 4, up, 5, I can pull my right arm up and I'm holding good position and I'm balanced and I'm good. Hold that left knee up, kick out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're going to sweep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do those hip rotations, 3 of them. Big circle with that knee. Drive that knee up, out the fire hydrant, around to hip extension, and down, reverse, hip extension, fire hydrant, down, circle up, out the fire hydrant, hip extension, and down, reverse, hip extension, fire hydrant, and down one more, out to fire hydrant, hip extension, and down, kick back, out and around. Very nice. Very nice. Cool. All right. So we're going to do these Spider-Man with World's Greatest, which you guys know how to do. And then we're going to add in something just a little bit different. We're going to add in some knee flexion, where we're going to squeeze that hamstring, pull that heel in, and you should get a nice stretch in your quad when you do so. So we're going to do 3 on the right, and then we'll do 3 on the left. All right, so I start out foot flat, shin vertical. From here, I'm going to straighten out my right leg. I'll drop down and hold just briefly. Then the knee goes down, the hips go down, the chest comes up. This we've done. Now the new part, I'm going to curl my heel in and hold. Now the foot goes back on the ground. I drop down with that Spider-Man, hold that. Now the knee goes down, the hip goes down, the chest comes up. Push those hips down hard. I'm going to pull that heel in nice and tight. Put that foot back on the ground. Go back into that Spider-Man. Go back to World's Greatest, knee down, hips down, chest up. Now we're going to curl that foot in, squeeze, and relax. Good. Okay, so let's go to the other side. Right foot flat, right shin vertical, hands on the ground to the left of your foot. Left leg straight. You're going to drop down in position. Knee down, hips down, chest up. Here we go, we're going to bend that knee. We're going to pull that heel in. Big stretch in that quad. Go back, foot on the ground. Drop down in position. Knee down, hips down, chest up. Push those hips down. And we're going to pull that heel in nice and tight, squeeze that hamstring. Foot goes down, one more, drop down to position. Into the Spider-Man, knee down, hips down, chest up, hang out there for a second. Now we're gonna pull that heel in nice and tight, squeeze that hamstring, and relax, beautiful, okay. So we're gonna go to a side lying position on your mat. So I want to make sure that my hips are stacked, my shoulders are stacked. I want to make sure that my hands are out in front of me and clasp them to create some tension. We're going to do hip rotations here. We're going to do 5 on each side, 5 on the right, then 5 on the left. So from here, I'm going to lift my leg. I'm going to bend my leg. I'm going to pull my leg behind me just a little bit. So from here, pulling up and back as hard as I can. Then, while I'm keeping myself hips and shoulders stacked vertically. From here, we're rotating here at the hips, here at the hip. Think about rotating around the knee as we make this rotation. All right, continuing to pull up and back slightly. Ready? So rotating down and in, and then back 1, rotating 2, down and in, 3, back to the starting, rotate down and in, 4, and 1 more, 5. Good. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, stack my hips, stack my shoulders, hands out in front of me. Right leg is strong and straight on the ground. Lift that leg, bend that leg, pull it behind me just a little bit. Driving this knee up towards the shoulder. Now we're gonna rotate down and in, 1, and then rotate that knee back up, rotate down and in. Remember, all the rotation occurring here at the hip. Rotate down and in, 3, down and in, 4, and 5. Good. Okay. All right. Where are we going? All right. So here we're going to need something for balance here. So we're gonna do 3 of these on each side. So from this position right here, I'm gonna posterior tilt, so I get this stretch. Then I will curl and squeeze that hamstring, okay? 3 times. Ready, nice and tall, pull these shoulders down and back. Posterior tilt, stretch to the hip flexor. Then we're gonna pull that heel up, squeeze. Foot goes back down, make sure those toes are in the ground. Posterior tilt, big stretch. Pull that heel up, squeeze. One more time. Posterior tilt, think about tucking that butt up underneath. Pull that heel up, nice and tight, and squeeze. Good, okay. Other side. Nice and tall in our position, pull those shoulders down and back. Posterior tilt, hip flexor and quad stretch. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Posterior tilt, hip flexor and quad stretch. Pull that heel in, nice and tight, squeeze. One more time. And beautiful. Good. All right. Okay, so we're going to do 3-point Spider-Man rotations. So we'll hold the top of the Spider-Man position. These are going to be 10-second holds each. So I'll start with the left foot forward, and from here, I'll just really quickly. So position 1 for 10 seconds, position 2 for 10 seconds, and then position 3 for 10 seconds. All right. So here we go. Left hand is going to rotate up, and big rotation to the torso, pulling those shoulder blades together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that right arm straight. Reach that left arm underneath and really reach through as far as you can. Really reaching, pushing, keeping that right shoulder high and that right arm long, and pushing that left shoulder down. Good. Bring that left hand on the ground, and then big rotation, right arm up to the sky, up to the ceiling. Big rotation through that torso, pulling those shoulder blades together. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good, okay. Other side. So here we go. We're gonna start with that right arm. Big rotation, pull those shoulder blades together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that right arm, reach underneath your left arm, pushing your right shoulder down to the ground. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put that right hand on the ground, take that left hand, big rotation up, pulling those shoulder blades together, big rotation to that torso. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Cool. Okay. So this next part, it's going to be a little challenging. We're going to be in a plank position. We're going to do 3 10-second holds and then 3 hip rotations. So each of our 10-second holds, we're going to do a mountain climber, where that knee is just driven straight up and held in place. Then we'll kick it out to the side. Then we'll bring it across. Then we'll do 3 rotations, 3 hip rotations, and then we'll repeat on the left side, and we'll just do it nonstop. So this can be done on the ground, or it can be done hanging on, or it can be done off of a chair. So if you, or if you need to transition partway through it, transition from the ground to a chair. All right. Okay. Here we go. So plank position, and we're going to drive that right knee up and hold position. So I'm thinking of driving my right knee up and pulling it in nice and tight. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to push my knee out to the side and hold. So again, lifting up as high as I can and driving it forward as far as I can. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to take that knee, I'm going to twist. So pivot on my left foot and really twist across to the other side of my body. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now holding plank position, we're going to do hip rotation. So just think about making a big circle with that knee, and we're going to go both directions. Ready? So big circle, going backwards, big circle, forwards, 1, circle back, circle forward, 1 more, circle front to back, and circle back to forward. Good, okay. Here we go. Drive that left knee up, going right into it. Strong position. Come on. Here we go. 2, 1. Push that knee out to the side. Hold that strong position. If you need to transition to a chair, do it. 2, 1. Pivot across. Driving that knee across. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 3 hip rotations. Big circles. Going front to back. And then back to front. That's 1. Front to back. Back to front. Big circles with that knee. Last one. Oh, goodness. Those are hard. Okay, here we go. Final 2 things. We're going to do a squat with rotation, and then we're going to do squats. Now, with that squat, ideally what we would do is we sit down here in a nice deep squat, pulling our heels down to our butt, and then we simply just rotate, but I want to make sure I'm nice and deep, and I want to make sure that I have a long back, okay? So I don't want to be doing one of these and trying to make my rotation. So if you can't hold position, then what we can do is you can either bring yourself up a little bit, we can do so from, as opposed to nice and deep, we could be a little bit higher, whatever your deep is. We could also be off of a counter, off of something nice and heavy, where I'm hanging onto that counter, giving myself that little counterbalance, and making that rotation. Again, just pulling for that little bit of balance, all right? From there, we're gonna go right into 15 squats, either just regular squats, or if I need to, I can do my squats off of a chair, okay? All right, so whether you're gonna do it out in the open or with some sort of balance, here we go. Drop down into that nice deep squat position. Feet flat, activate those big toes, activate those arches, drive those knees out, trying to keep that spine nice and long. Left arm, rotate up. Right arm, try and keep that spine as long as you can while you make that rotation. 2, 2. Here we go, one more each side. Big rotation. And one more. Good, okay. Now, either your chair or regular squats. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Hell yeah, every day. Excellent job, excellent job. Keep it up. Even when it's a struggle, try and get something done every day. Come on.